Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Terra Tech. And on this episode, we are continuing with the bot design that we have going here. And so, what I did between this video and the last video was add a second row up here in the front. Now, I was thinking about adding those basic ramp pieces in here, but I remembered you have to, actually put the whatever you call these propellers on the bot as well. So you're not going to be able to do that with the ramp pieces. You'll be able to do that on the inside, but not on the outside. As you can see right there, nothing can really attach to it. But on the inside right there, where you have that one piece, it can attach to it just fine. I also went ahead and started adding the pillars, and we're going to have these on each one of the corners and over here in the center as well. And it's going to go up like a cube. Basically, you want to get as much lift as possible on your bot because it's going to try to fly. I'm not sure. When I say try to fly, I'm just not sure how well ours is going to do because we're still missing a few of the key pieces that the guy I saw do it had. And of course, he was doing it in the R&D, so I don't know if it's completely possible to do it with what I have or what's in the game without having the R&D. Now, of course, if it's in the R&D and you have access to the research and development part of the game, you bought that download content, you're going to be able to mess around with that stuff because most of it will be found in the game as well. Now, I don't have that on my version. I thought about getting it, but I don't know. I'm just kind of set against spending more money on a game that isn't even out yet, and they already have download content. Like, I don't really approve of that, but I'm not so against it that I'm not willing to play the game because this is a really, really good game. I'm just not willing to put down more money on a game that I'm already supporting, but I like. So you can take for that whatever you want. You can say I'm cheap or just. For me, it's just the principle of the thing. I don't really think that's something they should be doing, but I completely understand it. They got to make money, and they're trying to put out a really good game, so I can't really fault them for that. Let's see. I guess we're gonna go. I would rather. I don't know. Should I have it? Now he only had 4 on his as well on the inside, but he had more on the outside. Obviously, you're able to do that. I do look like I have space to put maybe one more here if this line wasn't exactly where it was. So if I move the line over to say right here and took that out, put that on there, that might give me enough space. Yeah, I mean, I guess it would, but I wouldn't. How close can I get the line? Right there. So it wouldn't exactly be center. It'd be off a little bit. I guess I could put up with that. I guess it wouldn't be too harsh of a thing to do, and it would allow me to get one more in there, but that may mess up the other side. Like, I don't know how much I'll be able to get it over here. I might only be able to get in 3, and if that's the case, we'll have to put it back, but we'll take a look at that. We'll see what we can do. Now, when we first started this, I had a lot of money because I went through and I sat there and I picked up a lot of blocks and I killed off a lot of enemies, and we slowly built up a decent amount of money when we first started. I think I had something like 56,000 or something like that. You can see that I guess I would say I'm about halfway done with this bot. Maybe a little bit less than halfway. Maybe about 40% through this bot. We have a lot more pieces to buy. And some of the pieces are probably going to be pretty expensive. If they ever add the other pieces that were missing, the foils or whatever they were called, I'm sure those are going to be, kind of costly. But these pieces right here are 400 a piece, and we need a lot of them. And I was thinking I might actually use more than he did when he built his, because I just need that extra lift because I'm going to have a lot of stuff on my bot. I'm going to put a lot of heavy things on here, including 2 other bots that it's supposed to be able to carry with it. So, yeah, that may not be possible. I mean, we may not have enough money as of yet to do what we need to do, and if that's the case, we're gonna have to fix that. We're gonna have to I don't know on that one. We'll have to go back and earn a little bit more cash, kind of just go back and harvest a lot of that stuff on the ground. And of course, I'll do that off camera because I've done that a couple times on camera just to show you that's part of the game. It's something that you have to actually deal with on a regular basis at times, and it's I don't know, yeah, it's kind of annoying, but at the same time it's kind of fun. Like the first few times you do it, it really does add something to the game. So I don't know if I would really take that out. I would just make it easier for people to be able to harvest the stuff. You know, like I said before, where you should be able to just auto do it after a certain point. But yeah, I don't want to keep harping on that one because I've mentioned it a few times. And if they're going to add it into the game, they're going to add it in the game. They're not going to do it because I asked for it. But I still think it'd be kind of a cool thing. And so let's buy, I think, what, 2 of these should be enough to fill in the. Actually, maybe more than 2. We need 1 here in the front, if we can get it in that little hole right there. And we need 1 back here, which we'll have to change the angle to get that. And we need 1 more right there. Okay, so just 1 more of these little blocks should be enough to kind of fill in the gaps. Now, don't worry, I didn't buy too many of these aerofoils. We still have the entire back row to do. The only thing about the back row that I still need to do, and it's going to be a little tricky because I'm basically changing his design, which I'm hoping won't add too much weight back here because I don't know how much these blocks weigh. But I'm hoping to add these blocks all the way down the back of it. So they're not going to be these regular 3-stack GSOs. They're going to be the other ones, these armored ones. And, you know, I don't really care that it's armored. I'm really going for the fact that it's going to allow me to ride my bot right up into it because it's going to be a ramp. And again, that's kind of what I'm going for on this one, is just that base bot that I can drive like my, you know, like a castle. I can drive my bot in here. It might be able to repair it with, you know, the shield generators and things of that sort. Maybe charge it up with batteries or do something different. Maybe something I haven't really thought of yet. And if you guys have ideas of what it should look like in here, definitely leave that down in the comment section. If you guys want me to go with something very special, such as a design that makes it look like Charlie Brown's face or Garfield's face or something weird, you know, like you have a cool idea, definitely leave that down there because I'll definitely try it if it sounds like something I'm capable of doing. Now, some of the stuff you guys may want me to try out, I just don't have the blocks for. When I get them, I definitely will give it a shot, but keep in mind that they are planning on coming out with a new expansion here. Not an expansion, but a new patch, I should say. And it's going to be adding a lot of stuff to the game. They're going to be adding more of the storyline as far as the, you know, the corporations go. And when they do that, sometimes, not always, but sometimes they have it where you have to start over. You know, otherwise you just won't be able to, you know, play the game with the new updates because it changes the game, the coding that much. In those situations, you know, I'm going to have to start over, and because I'm doing it that way, there's just not going to be a lot of room for me to do this stuff. I'm like, I have to build up my whole thing all over again and actually get to the point where I have the resources to do some of those more advanced techniques. So that kind of does suck. It kind of pushes you back, but in a good way, because overall, I think you know, those updates have been beneficial to the game. They've been good for the game. There has been a few updates where they kind of like broke the game for a little while. Like it just did not work at all. And you know, I've done Let's Plays of that as well. So if you want to see some of those early days where it was kind of sketchy, definitely go back and watch those. But for the most part, I am perfectly fine with all the updates that they have integrated into the game. They did go a different route than I probably would have gone with the game, as such as you know, when the game first came out, it was, I don't want to say cartoony, but it was more you know, free, kind of like, oh, look at this, is just really cool looking. They kind of went down the route of more realistic, which is perfectly fine. It does have its benefits to doing that. But I did greatly enjoy the fact that when it first started out, it was super easy to play this game. Like, you just almost couldn't even die. And so when you came out here, you were just able to jump into the gameplay and have a good time. Didn't have to do too much thinking, but you did get to build and design your own bots. There's other games out there that do the exact same thing as this one, and they have that game style. So maybe that's what they were thinking is, oh, that's already on the market. We don't really need to make another one of those. But because of that, you know, because I actually let my nephew try this game out, and he's pretty young. I mean, he's still into like Nintendo and stuff like that, playing Mario. They're a little bit easier for him, you know, because he's still pretty young. He's still learning how to play video games. When he got into playing this one, he got into, unfortunately, almost at exactly the wrong time when they were changing it from easy mode, and they went a little bit beyond easy mode into super extremely hard mode where I could barely stay alive, and a lot of the time I didn't. And so when he jumped into it, because he watched my videos, he was like, "Oh, that's really really cool. I want to play." And then he was just getting nailed left and right. He couldn't get anything done. He couldn't build up a base. He couldn't even get his pieces. And I felt really bad for him, and it kind of put him off of the game altogether. Like he just stopped playing the game. And I'm like, well, I can understand having that niche of going for games that are more difficult for players who want that difficulty. And if you don't want it, you can go play one of the easier ones. I mean, they're out there, you know. But with the same thing, it just kind of it limits who can play your game, and it's a touchy subject to get in with some people. Some people like the more difficult ones. Some people like the easier ones. Some people like the ability to choose when you play the game how difficult it's going to be for you. I think overall that's probably the safest bet to do. Like you can make it really in depth and you can make it really difficult, but just give people the ability to make it easy on themselves if their skill just isn't there yet. Because you may have some young viewers, you may have young players of your game that just they can't play it anymore because you made it so difficult, and that kind of sucks. If they're a fan, they like the game, and they're just not able to play it. I mean, it's not like you did something wrong, but you're really stopping some people from enjoying the game as maybe you want them to. Like I mean, if I put a lot of effort into making a game like this, I'd want as many people to play it as possible, but I would also want to keep it as true to my ideals and my vision when I first started as possible as well. So I don't know, like that's what I'm saying. It's kind of a tricky situation to figure out exactly what the best method is in that. Where did that go? Did that get attached to the back over there? Oh, it got attached to the bottom row because it's still flat back there. Okay, yeah, that's not what I want right there. I want to do a whole nother row of small ones. Actually, they're going to be the same size as the one on the top. They're just going to be on the bottom so that I can actually drive my bot up into this. And again, because you still have to get out, somewhere on the inside, I'm going to have to make another row of those where they can ride in and out very easily, or at least somewhat easy. Like it doesn't need to be super convenient, but it does need to be possible. And I think if you're going with the bigger wheels, you don't really have to make it as smooth a ride. In fact, you probably could get away with not even having it at all. But that might be a little difficult at times getting up if you're a really, really heavy bot or something along those lines. Now, we do have the brackets. I'm not really sure if the brackets would be good for a bot like this. It's definitely something we can experiment with, and I hate that it went dark here. I need to put some lights out here, actually. Maybe I'll buy a few of those while I'm in here. Buy some Geocore ones, because those will definitely light the area up. Let's see, which ones do I want? I actually like these floodlights right here, so let's buy, I guess 4 of them will probably do. And of course, we can resell these objects when we're done with them, so we can make that money back, because that's a nice little chunk of change right there. That's definitely going to add a little bit more money to our cost. Let's see. Nope, that's not the way I wanted to go. I wanted to actually go either in or out. Okay, so out's okay. I'd rather it go in so I can actually see what I'm doing. But, in this situation, we'll take what we can get at the moment. There we go. Let's put some up here. Wow, look how much light these things add, man. It's freaking nuts. Let's put a few over here. And I guess we'll go with 2 more of those, just to be safe. GSO. No, we want Geocore. I wish that it would leave it on. Actually, let's go with some of these smaller ones. These might be better because they're just going to radiate light out instead of kind of shooting it out in one direction, which we kind of just need all directions at this moment just to see what we're doing. Now, remember, this will add lag, and of course, it will add weight as well. So in the long run, you may not exactly want it on your bot. That's different color and light, too. Look at that. Ooh, I kind of like that. Like a reddish, yeah, almost like a reddish color to that, and the mixture of the two is kind of nice. I think that one's a little bit more soothing, to be honest. The reddish color is a little bit better than the bright white, but yeah, I think if you did that in the right order, you could have like a bot that looked like a person with these as their eyes coming out, and that give it like a brownish reddish color to their eyes, and then maybe for their smile have like this bright white light coming out. I don't know, that might just be something we can play around with. I haven't really thought about it, but yeah, that actually looks like it's coming along pretty nice. Now the propellers right here, as you can see, They don't move the bot yet because it doesn't have any wheels, but it should. You know, like this should be enough force to move my bot along. Now, if it's not, I can always add another row in the center here somewhere to add more of these, or I can even add a row right in front of the ones in the back, and then add another row in front of that. So they don't necessarily have to be spaced apart, you know, evenly. They just have to be on your bot, pushing or you know, just creating that force that's going to get you up in the air. But before we get too far along, I'm going to go ahead and get some more of these geocore blocks, or not geocore, the GSO blocks that we need to go up, because that's going to add a different feel for this bot overall, and it's something I want to show you guys before we get too far along. Now, this will probably be the last video that I do tonight, and for the most part, I think what I'm going to do is do the rest off camera. I just wanted to give you guys a view of what's going on here, because this does take a little while to do. I wanted to shoot a few tonight, and if I didn't shoot these, then you probably wouldn't get any more videos for, you know, a few more days, because it's just this will probably take, you know, 4, 5, 6 hours to finally get completely and totally done, to the point where I can't really do any more to it because we just don't have the pieces. But I do want to show a little bit of the building, because I greatly enjoy that aspect of the game. I think that's, you know, a huge point in this game that a lot of YouTubers just don't show off, because, you know, they like, oh, we've done that before, it's kind of boring, people don't want to see it anymore. I think people do, at least I do, when I watch these kind of videos. I've seen all these people who have these finished products, amazing bots, and they kind of sit there and they talk about it, like how they did it briefly, you know. And of course you can pause it and look at it in depth, but there's something about actually watching somebody build it and then also talk about why they did it. The video I watched of the guy doing this, he did it in like fast motion, you know, like he fast forwarded the video. There was no talking in it, a little bit of music every so often, which is kind of weird. It just kind of popped up in the middle of nowhere and then it went away, so I'm not really sure what they were doing with that one, but a good video overall. But it would have been interesting to get somebody's opinion, their take on why they were doing what they were doing, because of weight limits, because, you know, they tried this and this didn't work. I mean, that's valuable information that they probably sat there for a long time acquiring. You know, like they probably had to do that again and again and again before they figured out, oh, this technique works a little bit better. Because I had to do the same thing with the helicopter when I did mine. Like, it was really a lot of trial and error. I just sat there, built up what I thought would work, tried it out. No, it's a little heavy on this side because, oh, you know, the solar generator and the repair bubble apparently are incredibly freaking heavy. Like, they don't look like they are, but they are. You know, so when you know that, you can take that into account when you design your bot. And when you know, tell people about that, now they don't have to go through all that trial and error that you had to go through. So that's why I like doing this for you guys, because while I'm doing this, occasionally things pop into my head and I'm like, oh, okay, this is why I'm doing this that way. And, you know, you may want to, you know, at least play around with it, because I'm not right. You know, I'm not right all the time. I'm not right most of the time when it comes to this game, because this game is constantly changing. So what I once knew to work a certain way, when I come back, is working a completely and totally different way, which is kind of cool. But it's also, you know, one of those things that it sucks, because once you learn it, you're expecting it to keep going that way, and then it does it, and you're like, oh, what am I doing wrong, right? Like, now things are working completely different. You know, the blocks are, you know, they weigh a certain amount, and it just, yeah, it kind of throws you off a little bit. Now, I think that's going to be high enough. You don't want to go too high, so we're going to go ahead and start connecting these pieces up here, and you can kind of see that this is the design that we're going with. Now, you could probably go as high as you want, but remember, again, every single one of these blocks, it weighs something, and it's going to really add to the overall, you know, just difficulty of this bot getting up into the sky. But again, because I am adding a whole nother layer on the top and the middle and the back, I'll be adding a whole nother layer of these propellers as well. So there's going to be more lift there. There's going to be more power there. Again, I don't know, because he didn't say it in his. I just haven't had the experience. If you can go overboard with them, you know, if there's at some point they just stop paying off the dividends and you just get more weight and pretty much no more lift. If that's the case and you guys at home know that, then yeah, definitely leave that in the comment section, and I'll make sure not to add too many. But because I'm going to have so much freaking weight on this thing, And of course, you do have to create a floor down here. That's one of the other things he did, where he kind of did this right here, and then he made the entire floor down here all the way over completely solid. And that's something I'm gonna try to do, but I'm thinking I'm gonna leave gaps, you know, like just spaces every so often that are small enough that a big geocore will not fall into, but will leave space for either repair bubbles to kind of be stuck into the floor so they don't just pop out in places that don't really fit it. Also, it's going to lower the weight because I'm not having as many blocks on my bot. I do want to kind of experiment with the inside blocks being venture blocks instead of GSO ones, because they're going to add less weight. They do cost a little bit more money, which is the downside. As you can see right now, I'm down to 17,000, which sounds like a lot of money, but considering I started at 50 something, yeah, it goes by really, really quick, guys. I mean, that's just crazy how much cash I'm spending on this thing. And I'm not even, really close to being done. I still have quite a bit left. And some of the pieces that I have left are the expensive ones. Like I have the propellers. I still have to get a whole bunch more propellers. Every propeller that you see right now, pretty much double that. And if I did that right now, I think I don't have the cash. I really don't have the cash to do it. So this is going to be a work in progress. It may be something that I have to come back on future episodes and show you just the progress that I've made. Again, if you guys don't want to see me actually sit here and build the whole thing, leave that down in the comments, and I'll skip as much as possible. But because it's going to take so long, and I just, if you want to have videos on a regular basis, this is sometimes some of the stuff you get to see and some of the stuff that you might have to sit through. But of course, I do try and stop every so often and go off and do a little bit of hunting, like I did on the last episode where we went and got the airplane. We ran into a couple of invaders. We ran into quite a few bots actually, because they spawn like every couple minutes a new one spawns, whether you're attacking them or not. So that's that's a thing. That's something you're gonna have to watch out for, and something that's gotten me off guard many, many times. Although it does seem like they've gotten a little bit better with proximity, in the regards where they don't necessarily come after you as much when you're not really moving. Like they kind of sit off in a certain area away from your bot, and they will stay that way. They may be very, very close to your bot. They may look like they're going to come over at any minute and attack you. And indeed, it does get very, very hairy on whether they're going to do that or not. But they never really quite get there. They never really quite get close enough to come over to you, unless, of course, you move. Like if you move a few inches towards them, that may be all the space they need to be like, oh, there's a guy over there, I'm going to go kill him. But if you stay absolutely still, for the most part, nowadays anyways, they will leave you alone. That didn't used to be the case. You could stay as still as you wanted before. They would actually have bots. I've seen it before on some of my Let's Plays, where they spawn literally on top of you. Like the bot falls out of the sky right onto your bot. Like it's nuts, It just doesn't make any sense, but it happens. So that's something you might have to get used to. Now I am going to move this row back a little bit. That may throw things off. That may be a really, really bad idea. But I want to make it a little bit more even. The bottom necessarily doesn't have to be, and I'm trying to actually avoid it being even back there so it has more space to do its thing, when I put my bots in the back. But the top, I kind of want to be a little even to negate some of that weight that I might have a problem with. I'm aware of the weight issues. I'm aware of how when you're in the sky, even just having one extra light on one side versus the other side, literally just an extra light, can throw everything off so much so that you just you can't do anything. You just literally cannot fly that bot without tipping over and just wrecking it. Now I did put these corner pieces in, thinking it would be very, very cool to have it. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to use them because I need to have this attached back here. I guess I don't really have to have it all the way in the back, but I kind of want to, just for safety reasons and aesthetics. I think this might look kind of cool. We may have to figure something out with the looks, add something to these blocks in the future. I do hope, again, I've mentioned this many times before on my other Let's Plays of this game. I do hope that they add a little bit more customization to the blocks. Maybe add coloring, or you can add texture packs to them. Something along those lines so that you can design things that look a certain way. And I don't know, like if you want to design, like my friend Hydros Inc., he really wants me to design the Millennium Falcon. The problem with that is, one, it's an incredibly hard build to get right. Like that's gonna be difficult. You're gonna need a lot of stuff like the tractor pads, not tractor pads, the hover pads, and a few other pieces. I think I have everything I need to finally do that one. It's just gonna be a very very difficult build because it's I need it to look exactly the way it should be because I'm a big Star Wars fan and I want to do that justice. You know, I don't want to do it halfway and be like, oh, that kind of looks like how it should be. No, I want to do it perfect. Uh, so I'm kind of, putting that one off. I'm a little hesitant to start that one up because I know I'm going to be a perfectionist when it comes to it and just try to get every little detail right. It's going to have a whole bunch of like radar units on top to get that look that the Millennium Falcon has in Star Wars. But I want it to be the right color, and the blocks, they kind of are the right color. They're gray. It's kind of the color you need, but it has this strip of white in there. And I don't know if that's really going to work with the design. But the other downside to it is I don't really want to use Geocore blocks or GSO blocks. I want to use Venture blocks because they're going to be a lot more lighter weight. And since I'm going to be using the hover pads, it's that's probably the best the best bet to do with that. But they're red, white, and blue, I think, and it's just not even close to being what the color should be for the Millennium Falcon. So yeah, that's something that I'm hoping that they add. I've never heard anybody mention that's even a thing or they're even thinking about doing that. I think it's a terrific idea. I think it would be pretty cool to be able to have Hello Kitty blocks and Transformer blocks, whatever kind of blocks you want, because really the sky's the limit on texture packs. In fact, if they really want this game to take off and become a thing where people can build on it for years to come, they really kind of should open that part up to anybody who wants to import a skin, kind of like they do in Minecraft. Like you can go in there and create your own skin for your character and then import it into the game. Now, of course, you're going to have people who abuse that, come out with disgusting images, but for the most part, I think people would use it for what it's intended for, which is just to have a good time and try things out. And the designs that you could come up with would just be amazing. Like the sky's the limit on that one, and I think they would be overall better off in the long run if they did that. But you guys will have to let me know what you think on that subject. Maybe I'm completely wrong on this one. Maybe you guys have a completely different opinion, and you like the way the blocks look, and you think they should stay that way, and you don't really think they should add more to it. This looks a lot like an erector set that I had when I was a kid. At the moment, with all these square angles. I mean, there's really no roundness to it. There's no finesse really. I mean, there's not a whole lot of beauty to it just yet because there's a lot more to add. But at the moment it looks a little blocky, but that's what it's supposed to look like. And of course up here on the top I'm going to add more of these things, more of these propellers right here. Put these all the way along the top, and then of course in the center and on the bottom. The only downside I can see to the design that I have right now is it's kind of short now that I'm looking at it, and so the bots that I put in here will have to be of a certain height. But again, that may not be a bad thing because again, weight limit is going to be priority. Like that's just, it's crazy. And if you can see this guy over here in the distance, that's my bot. I had to pop him up on some of his own blocks because as you can see the wheels are turning. That guy would not stay still. I absolutely, the AI in this game is friggin' nuts. I don't know what he's trying to do right now, but it is not helpful. It is not helpful even in the remote. Those dudes drive me nuts sometimes. So definitely if you're going to do this, think a little bit ahead on who you bring over here, and make sure you have a few extra blocks or buy a few extra so that you can stick that guy onto almost like cinder blocks and just keep him out of the way without a little close by though. Something easy, like I can just pop those blocks off and he's ready to go. So he's ready to fight. Now I should have my my solar rechargers up and charging that guy. I just completely forgot about it. And he's far enough away that you won't hear it. So that's a good thing to keep up and running. Of course, I need to fill this in. I need to do a few more pieces here and there. But we're gonna do that, I'm gonna do that in between this video and the next one. It's coming along though, guys. It's coming along. In fact, let me spin it up so you guys can see. That is a lot of power right there. Look at that, guys. That is freaking nuts. And of course, it's actually lagging out a little bit there. And I can always throw some boosters on it, and the sky's the limit. So I'm greatly looking forward to seeing how this goes. I think it's pretty cool. and I want to hear what you guys think. Again, guys, thanks for watching. Until next time.